Well, folks, good morning. Welcome to Cool Online 2, PROSA or student group at the University of Liberia. Press conference turns violent, where scores of students are retrieving back to the Palawa Hut, according to the information received. That earlier they converged at the Palawa Hut for the press conference, and they were interrupted by unknown men, which led to several injuries, but they are quote-unquote back on the move to reclaim the Palawa Hut and take down their flag, the PROSA flag, from the UL's main campus at Capitol Hill. So keep following us. My name is William Koluba Howard, and I'm here with Alexander Nyenenkeng, and we're following closely. They have reclaimed the Palawa Hut. So these are students from PROSA, University of Liberia-based students group, who have earlier planned a protest, but later on broke it down to a press conference on grounds that they wouldn't be part of the president's birth anniversary celebration because it's currently closed, so they wouldn't celebrate once there is this kind of situation. There's a closure of the school, and we see very previously they have converged to have a press conference here at the UL's main campus, Palawa Hut, that is on the Fenner campus. That's the Capitol Hill campus. So they were ran into by some unknown men. You see the wounds here. The student was murdered. You can see the blood stream. So they are claiming that the guys are from the Sabu unit, but it is not yet confirmed whether they are actually from the Sabu unit, but we're still trying to figure out as to which group was involved with the riot with the PROSA students, but it is yet established whether it was the Sabu unit or not. So we're still here. We're on the UL campus at Capitol Hill, where the students of the student group PROSA, University of Liberia, have come to send a press statement. And according to them, some group of unscrupulous individuals ran into them, wondering some of the students. So, according to them, they are moving outside. They are moving to the main front, the side facing the Capitol building. They are going in search of the guys who attacked them, but we see that the campus is quite clear. You only find a few persons. You find only a few persons around the campus. It's like a ghost camp. But only a few administrative staffs are here. So the leadership is moving to the front of the building. That is the main entry, the UL main entry on Capitol Hill. So let's see what's going to come out of this. They are threatening fire for fire, and because according to them, they have earlier come in a kind of peaceful way to assemble and have their press conference, but unfortunately they were run into by some unknown men, while some of them are alleging that they are from the guys who attacked them are from the Sabu unit. But we're seeing some group of young people, I don't know whether they are seditious, within the confines of the Capitol building, and I guess they are on celebration for Liberia's President George Weah, because some of them are wearing citizen apparel, but the students are here. So this is the main entry to the University of Liberia. They are out, and the group is in the Capitol building fence and celebrating, chanting slogans, and I believe that they are celebrating politically. So the guys are normal. They are normal, awaiting any feedback. But this is just between the main route linking to Central Monrovia. The road that leads straight to Central Monrovia in Cinco. So they are retreating into the main campus fence because they have not seen any reaction from those they thought when they are attackers. So we say here, this is School Online 2, School 91.9. My name is William Oliver Howard. On top of this development, they are alleging that guys who attacked them came with arms.
Fighting for everybody and one person, especially you. We got a benefit, they get free education. Now I want them employer, them increase their salary.
So I think the group is retreating, and I'm sensing that the press conference is still gonna hold on. So we are still here on the main campus here on the Capitol Hill, University of Liberia. Students Union PROSA press conference turns violent. But earlier on, before I arrived, we noticed the entire campus was scattered, and the PROSA has been taken away from the UL main Parliament Hall, and where they have come back to reclaim the Parliament Hall. They are here, but there's none of the guys around. Some of them whom they are claiming are from the Sabu unit, which is not yet confirmed. So we're still following up, maybe, or perhaps I'm gonna conduct this press conference. The citizen government has set another record. The citizen government has set another ridiculous record. So the assembly. Reassembling. So according to PROSA, they have earlier planned protest, but it was cancelled a few hours to the staging of the protest. It was cancelled and it was changed to a press conference where they said they have gotten information from national stakeholders that the safe question, there will be a memorandum of understanding today. So from that background, they have earlier chosen to cancel the protest and wanting to have a release of president. Them converging at the Parliament some from this.
Oh, you didn't expect it. You didn't expect it. You didn't have bread, but you can't eat today. The students are on liberators. Teachers face our campuses face our campuses Amanda, wait. Amanda, wait. Amanda, wait. Amanda, wait. Amanda, wait. Yandole, yandole, yandole. Yandole, yandole, yandole. Yandole, yandole, yandole. Oh, il est Togo. Gentlemen, oh. Togo, gentlemen, oh. Gentlemen, oh. Gentlemen, oh. Our campus, our party. So tell you oh. So tell you oh. So tell me so tell the way you are good, I will make them good. The way you are good, I will make them good. Manna figure a way to wait. Manna social justice academic figure a way to wait. Manna total emancipation a way to wait. Reactionary tendency. Reactionary tendency. Reactionary tendency. Itulo. Sabu unit. Sogo. Can't stop. Say yo with the Lord. Say yo with the Lord. Say you. Thank you. Commerce. Today is a historic day. And today is a day for militants of the University of Liberia to remember. Yes. In this light, we officially welcome the prize. Our militants posted and ensured that the four corners of this intellectual agora are protected as we speak to the press. Firstly, we love to use this time to welcome the press under the banner of the Avant-Garde Progressive Student Alliance and some solidarity forces, most especially from the student integration movement. Today is a historic day, as I said earlier, and I bring you warm revolutionary greetings from the man who presides over the tripartite sessions of our party, the Executive Council, the Supreme Council, and the General Congress of the Avant-Garde, most robust, revolutionary, undefeatable, insurmountable Avant-Garde Progressive Student Alliance of the State-run university. So, few weeks ago, we witnessed an unprecedented closure of the University of Liberia on grounds that the University of Liberia are owing some faculties members when it comes to salary disparity. And by the way of introduction, I'm William B. Stanley Jr. I'm the chairperson on the Intellectual Discourse Committee of the Avant-Garde Progressive Student Alliance. And we decided to call upon the University of Liberia Authority and national government as well, because we are cognizant of the fact that it is national government that should fund this university as per law. And so based upon that, our advocacy went towards them. And we decided to converge here today that it has gone 2 weeks. The University of Liberia has been closed. And we told our militants to gather in a peaceful manner to call upon the government and that of the administration of the University of Liberia to ensure that the University of Liberia opens the latest next week on those issues that we raised. One, the deplorable conditions of the University of Liberia infrastructure, and that of disparity, the salary disparity of faculties of the University of Liberia that led to the closure of the University of Liberia. And so we converged this morning at 6 o'clock, and we peacefully assembled under the political power hall where we chanted our revolutionary slogans. And all of a sudden, an unprecedented incident erupted. But with that, we have the man who is charged with the responsibility to interpret our being here today and what just unfolded. Because It has been recorded into history. And so it may surprise you that due to our convergence in our core, the GOL and that of the administration of the University of Liberia is about to sign the MOU to ensure that the University of Liberia opens as per October 8th, and that of those issues that were being raised due to our core. But something occurred, and we want to inform the Liberian people and that of the press, which the man who is charged with that responsibility in prison of Comrade Abdullah Chris Andy, is the RDC2 of our party. He's going to quickly interpret such unfoldings in a jiffy, and that will give the next option of our party as we have gathered to ensure that the masses students are liberated, and it is our right to acquire tertiary education. No one dare stand when it comes to our educational sojourn. So in that light, Comrade RDC2, you are invited to the podium to interpret our being and what led to our militants being brutalized just a few minutes ago. Thank you. Manda, wait, 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 Luther. Viva, 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 student advocacy, viva! Viva! Viva, 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 solidarity forces, viva! Viva! Viva, 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 the student remain the paramount concern, viva! Viva! Comrades, compared ideological defendants, intellectual paratroopers, men and women at the coefficient of intellectual and revolutionary expansion, solidarity forces, and to the fourth estate, let me use this opportunity to bring you warm and heartfelt revolutionary greetings, packaged and enveloped in social justice, equality, academic freedom. No. From the man who presides over the Tripartite sections, cross section, and joint sections of Africa's fastest growing revolutionary mass-based student movement, the Avant-Garde Progressive Student Alliance of the University of Liberia. So, it is most gratifying, and it is always a singular honor whenever we are given opportunity as militants of our institution. It is our responsibility to execute. Manda, wait, 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 Manda, wait. It is our responsibility as militants we operate at the dictates and mandates of our institution. So whenever we are given responsibility, we take ownership of the responsibility and discharge the responsibility. So today, let me recognize the presence of the solidarity brothers from the student integration movement. South. Who have decided to join ranks with us today. As we have said consistently, that this particular struggle is not a struggle for personal glorification, but it is for the overall benefit of the oppressed, downtrodden, poverty-stricken masses, the ordinary students of the University of Liberia. Sir. The name is Justin W. Jalaba Jr. I am the co-chair on the Intellectual Discourse Committee of the Avant-Garde Progressive Student Alliance of the University of Liberia.
So,
We have been given a mandate to discharge a responsibility before we can usher in the chairman of our institution who will give the official position of our party. Let me give you the itinerary of our struggle and where we stand.
say yo, let us couper mais les say yo,
Say yo.
say yo, il a say yo,
Say yo. As you may be aware, for those of you who have followed the various media outlets, the students of the University of Liberia and that of the Faculty Association, we have raised several germane concerns. The students have identified contradictions, cascade of contradictions on the campuses of the University of Liberia.
so,
And they have said to us, they have given us the tribune to come in their defense and speak on their behalf. And whenever history gives us responsibility, we assume the responsibility and we assemble at the barricade to defend the massive struggle. We identify plethora of issues that undermine and underpin a smooth learning process or processes at the University of Liberia. We identify the issue of accessible internet connectivity on the campuses of the University of Liberia. As you may be aware, the University of Liberia is one of the oldest institutions in West Africa and on the African continent. It is no excuse and there is no justification sufficient that up to now, after several years, today the University of Liberia still lies in ruins and tatters. We want to say to you today, we cannot be in the 21st century and be learning the people who are living in the old stone age. We are people, we are students of contemporary time. It is a contradiction to even the motto of the university that talks about looks in tenebris, light in darkness. The university cannot be carrying the motto of looks in tenebris, light in darkness when the students of the University of Liberia are learning in perpetual darkness on the campuses of the University of Liberia.
say yo, we are learning in darkness, say yo, say yo.
So again, we identify the issue of stable electricity on the campuses of the University of Liberia. We flag the issue of the adequacy of buses to commute students from the federal campus who are challenged in commuting away to and from the federal campus. We identify the issue that the students at the level of the agricultural college are faced with. They are faced with the issue that the buses, the inadequate buses that commute students to federal cannot reach them to the agricultural college. And the distance from the road to the agricultural college is now a small distance. We identify the appalling and deplorable conditions of the University of Liberia buildings, the infrastructural underdevelopment of the university. And let me say to you today, it poses a serious danger and risks to the survival concerns, coupled with the concerns that we raise, to our dismay. We saw the faculty student and the faculty association, the University of Liberia Faculty Association, coming to a unanimous agreement after having several meetings with the administration of the University of Liberia. Because the administration of the University of Liberia refused to listen
to the plot to address the demands of the University of Liberia Faculty Association. It caused the Faculty Association to go into what we call a go slow action, or to take a strike action to lay down their chalks. As you may be aware, university students have been out of school for almost 2 weeks. Classes on the campuses of the University of Liberia have been suspended due to the litany and plethora of issues that we have flagged, that we have raised. But let me say to you, for us, in the words of Emiliano Zapata, he told us, he said, it is better to die on your feet fighting than to live your life and remain on your knees as a beggar. We want to say we have dedicated and we have committed our life to a particular process. And let me say to you, while we still breathe, while we still walk the face of the earth, we have made it our responsibility to speak on behalf of the over 25,000 marginalized, destituted, oppressed masses, the students of the University of Liberia.
Sir.
Let me say to you, in our generation, we will ensure that our children will not inherit a society. Our children will not inherit a university where they will have to beg on their needs for their rights. So in the words of Steve Banty Biko, he said to us, it is better that you die for an idea that will live than to live for an idea that will die. Let me say to you, we converge here. University students converge in what we refer to as righteous anger, to communicate and espouse their grievances and disenchantment to the President of the Republic of Liberia. And the reason why we thought it necessary and deemed it expedient to assemble and send out a message to the President, because we are aware that the President, he is a product of the slum. The President here from the Gibraltar. Today, you have a University of Liberia with a conglomeration of students who hail from the boroughs of New Guinea. They hail from the densely populated slum of West Point, Carrot and Dog community. They hail from the dejected and abandoned, the relegated slum of Gibraltar. So we thought it necessary that when we assembled and called on the President, you will listen to our plight, being a brother of the slum. Let me say to you, education is liberation, and on its foundation rests the cornerstone of democracy and a sustainable human reform.
Zayo! President, where I need to know that. Zayo!
Zayo!
Zayo! You got doctorate degree, one doctorate degree. Zayo!
Zayo! In the words of Kwame Nkrumah, during the formation and establishment of the ideas of Pan-Africanism, he said to African leaders, he said the independence of our country is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total liberation of Africa. We want to say to you, Mr. President, we celebrated you a few years ago. When you came on the campus, that free tuition is meaningless unless it is linked up with the total advancement and forward march of the University of Liberia. Until the university can be improved to a standard level where we can proudly boast of the institution, we want to say to you, this is a responsibility that history has imposed on us. And regardless of the consequences, no form of intimidation can send us into cowardice.
No way.
very resolute. We remain resolved and steadfast. Like we said, this is a path that we have chosen. History gives us options. History gives us the choice to choose. In life, you have two choices to choose between good and evil. And like we always say, the only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good people to sit and do nothing. For us in our generation, we are prepared to pay the price. And whatsoever cost it may take, we are prepared to go down in history for our rights. When Patrick Henry at the Virginia Convention in 1775, he stood up and said, "Is life so sweet and peace so dear as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? For be Almighty God, for I know now what course I may take. For as for me, he gave me liberty or gave me death."
Yeah, give her education or give her death. Yeah, you. Give her education or give her death. Yeah, you.
Let me say to you, never underestimate when students converge in history. History is plastered with references. History is replete with instances to prove that when students gather in history, you do not overlook their convergence. If you follow the Arab Spring, what led to the revolution, it started from the campuses of universities. When you follow the Soweto uprising of June 16, 1976, it started from the students. When you follow the Greensboro sit-in, one of the greatest demonstrations for civil liberty in the history of America that gave birth to people like Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks. Let me say to you today, it is with heavy heart that we have gathered here today with so much disgust to express our disenchantment and our frustration. What is frustrating, and it will interest you to know, that there are prominent people today who hold positions of relevance. People today of great stature in society who pass through the walls of the University of Liberia. Let me say to you, and for few references, Augustin P. Gafuan, former finance minister, former foreign affairs minister, you passed through the walls of the university. Jermaine Pia, former press secretary, you passed through the walls of the university. Today, Kofi Woods, and in contemporary time, we want to say people like Samuel D. Tuet Jr., we want to say people like Nathaniel McGill, we want to say people like Bill Toure, people like Moses Akaros Gray. These were all student leaders of the University of Liberia. They agitated against academic tyranny. They perturbated and agitated for the very concerns we are raising today. But what is disappointing, that after several years, today the University of Liberia still lies in ruins and tatters. Today, they are close to power. With their proximity to power, the University of Liberia is still a disgrace. And today, we will have the public to we will inform the journalists, and we will do a panoramic assessment of the university, so the public can see the deplorable condition of the institution that we have condemned over time. And let me say to you, few hours ago, why peaceful students of the University of Liberia gathered we notice an act of unorthodoxy. We witness an act of indecency meted against peaceful students of the University of Liberia. We want to say to you that it is an attack on the student community. We want to say to you that it is against the Geneva Convention. Few hours ago, we witnessed at the University of Liberia campuses, precisely main campus was being invaded by paramilitary group. Ex-combatants invaded the main campus, brutalized our comrades. We want to say to you, if it will be at the price of our blood, we will give our life in exchange for the popular student liberation struggle. Our comrades who gather here today to send out a message to national government were being brutalized. They were being brutalized and their properties were stolen. We want to say to you, this is the worst form of terror meted against sons and daughters of the ordinary class. Meted against sons and daughters of the marginalized class. Meted against peaceful university students. We want to say, what wrong are we committed? Or what crime are we committed? To stand up in defense. To stand up in defense of peaceful university students who have always lamented. Who have always lamented for their rights. We want to say to you today, if you are against the student interests, you become an enemy to the student community. If you stand in our interests, you become a solidarity ally.
Yo! Don't go against the student interest. Yo! You go against Israel with draw a line. Yo! Manda! Luther.
The students are vigilant and they are meticulously watching. We are watching state actors. We are watching state actors. And we want to have you informed that we are monitoring. The situation. And we are not moved by the political drama. We want to say to state actors, we want to say to state actors that in due time, during political time and political season, we will be at the barricade to interpret the situation to the students. And let me say to you, if you are against the interests of the students, if you feel that what we are doing here is wrong, we want to say to you, the time will come. The time will come when we will inform the students that when you needed people the most, those were the people who neglected you. The time will come when we will inform the students when you needed people the most, these were the people who stood in your interests. Like I said to you, I'm only trying to give you an itinerary and a play-by-play description and analysis of where we stand. The chairman of our institution, Impressing Ohela Debbie Mark, will give the official position of our institution. But let me say to you today, no form, and I repeat, no form of intimidation can silence us. We have accepted this particular path. We have chosen to take on the baton from those who started the particular process for Puna in it. And it is our responsibility to run the race in the popular student struggle. And until we can meet our demands, we will always assemble, we will always be at the barricade in the interest of the students. Let me say to you, the Universal Liberia students, we have no history of violence. Like we have gathered here today, is to send out a message to national government. Is to send out a message to state actors. And we are glad that we have the presence of the president. So today, the world will witness what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration. The world will witness what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for academic freedom and social justice. Now, let me say to you, for those of you who condemn us, for those of you who bastardize our role we play in history today, we say to you, in due time and at the final hour, history will render the final verdict, and you will know where we stand, and you will know where we have stood. We are aware of the unfoldings at the University of Liberia. And we want to say that we are not moved by any form of condemnation, or if you decide to cast aspersions on our presence. We want to say to you, these were tactics used on people before us. People before us who paid the ultimate price on the altar of the revolution. We want to say, when the day shall come at the final battle of Armageddon, the final battle in history, the battle between the forces of good and the forces of evil, we will always be on the side of the students. In our hands, we'll wave the flag of social justice, equality, and academic freedom. And at our feet will be the dead bodies of academic tyrants. Will be the dead body of tyranny. So with that, permit me now to use this opportunity. Like I said to you, we were given the mandate and we're being clothed with the authority to give an itinerary of our struggle. But the man who will give the official position and who will determine our next course of action is no other person but our own leader and teacher. Is no other person but a convinced egalitarian. Is no other person but a battle-tested student leader. Is no other person but a revolutionary paragon and par excellence. Permit me now to use this opportunity to invite to the pedestal to invite the presence of the man who referred to as the Raul Castro in our generation. Because of how he has exposed his life to the bullets and to the worst forms of intimidations. So, it pleases me dutifully to invite to the podium comme revolutionary chairperson, hello, debut mark. Allez, allez, allez. So I want to say, comme revolutionary leader and teacher, hello, debut mark. You are welcome to the pedestal. You are welcome to the podium. Speak to the press. Speak to the oppressed, dejected, and destitute students of the University of Liberia. They are listening and they are eager to hear the official position of where we stand. So thank you very much. Manda, 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 manda.
Duruma! Canto, nene umara mangeze duremo yoyo. Ni masia, ani doia. Puxa.
Amanda nigga freak away. Amanda sempre PROSA away. Viva, the struggle continues. Viva, the struggle continues. Viva. Amanda nigga freak away. Thank you very much, colleagues. Adherents of social justice, believers of egalitarianism, sons and daughters of the underprivileged masses of our people, distinguished cadres, militants, revolutionary fighting forces, under the banner and better wake of the avant-garde precursors to the alliance of the University of Liberia. So, men and women who have come to soldier on in solidarity, representing the student integration movement. So, we want to use this wavelength to give a Pan-Africanist revolutionary salutation to all fighting forces, students who continue to champion the cause for the people's redemption, men and women who continue to fight fearlessly in the midst of tear gas, in the midst of agonies, pains, and challenges. They have never given up the fight to redeem the youth and student community. So it is with that understanding that we want to say to them that the reason why we struggle is because we believe that the masses of the students of the University of Liberia need a quality tertiary education at the state-run university. But not only that the campuses of the University of Liberia must be compared to campuses in modern era. And so, strictly to the issue, we want to inform the press that the mandate from the party this morning was clear. And that was why when we availed ourselves on the campus, we were able to have a conversation with the Office of Student Affairs. And Student Affairs told us in a meeting that there is an MOU that is currently being signed by GOL and also the authorities of the University of Liberia that will effectively commence classes on 8th of this month. And so we decided to invite the media to give them our stand as a revolutionary campus-based political party. And so when the press came, students of the university were under the Palawa halt. When we witnessed the arrival of Turkish elements, when we witnessed the arrival of Scottish retired military personnel carrying firearms, breaking collapses, coming along with tear gas on the campus of the University of Liberia, specifically the Capitol Hill campus. And from the origin of this engagement, the students of the University of Liberia have been peaceful. And this is why, if I will call the press and we told them, insofar that GOL have come up with a release, you can go on the Ministry of Information timeline to see the release, and have also been published by the authorities of the university that classes will effectively resume on the 8th, and their MOU will encapsulate those issues that have been raised by the faculty senate. And so students were in a jubilant mood that those issues will be dealt with today and that classes will resume. So almost surprised when did these elements come in, where they came from, no one knows. But we think they are present on this campus is to cause chaos, is to loot, is to harm us peaceful students. Evidence of one of the, in fact, not even one, but 3 of the comers. For those of you from the media outlet, if you can look, this is a decent brother under the banner of the Progressive Student Alliance of the University of Liberia, who have been, his life has been in danger, going through pains, and you can take a look on here. So there's not a story that we are making up. Not only that, we also have a decent brother here under the same banner of the Progressive Student Alliance, who have also been in danger by these guys. There are a few of our brothers who properties were stolen, their phones, their wallets. And we think in the age of modernity, those actions are backward and they cannot be given any credence. As we speak, those brothers are still on the campus, ransacking the campus, and people must be aware that whosoever that gave them the mandate to come and instill fear on this campus want to say to them, before our victimization, people of our equivalent were victimized. The likes of Steve Biko, the like of Walter Susuru, the well of Chris Handy. So for us being victimized today, it is not, what we refer to a historical accident. We think as revolutionary we must pay the price. But if we must pay the price, we must pay the price with consciousness and enter into the discourse with sincerity. And this is why we have come to inform the press that why should we celebrate the fact that school will be resuming on the 8th of this month. We also want to strongly, in its superlative form, what you call, deal with those elements and say that the state must get involved. If they are state-sponsored missionaries, they need to come and speak to the press on that. But to invite these guys on campus that will bring terror on students of the university, we think is backward and it does not represent any good nature. So this is not about propagandizing issues. It's about speaking to the hardcore issues. From this morning, students of the university have been very peaceful. And this is why even the battle started right on the Palau Hall. The conversation started on the Palau Hall. So there is no reason why, whether they are Sabu unit, whether they are Zebra unit, whether they come from the government angle, whether they come from CPP angle, we don't know. But what we are saying to the press and people in the media, people that are following this process, want to say to you that for us, we fear nothing but to stay in defense of the ordinary students of the University of Liberia. So even you can reduce the campus to a sub-branch of the Liberia National Police Headquarters. We want to say to you, we will never give up the fight for social justice and their teaming for academic liberation. We are very clear on this, and this is why men continue to bleed for this process. We will never give up until we can be assured that this quality tertiary education that have been promised by the state to students of the university and the country at large be actualized. And so on that note, the straitjacket mandate is that the militants and cadres from the student integration movement, from the Progressive Student Alliance of the University of Liberia, we will remain posted on campus. We will remain posted on campus in our peaceful nature, and we are going to be the last to leave the campus. While the president is carrying on his birthday celebration, all we are saying to him in our previous press conferences, that while you are celebrating your birth anniversary, we think it's important that the students of the University of Liberia be going to school at the same time. You cannot be celebrating your birth anniversary while the over 35,000 students of the University of Liberia are sitting home. It makes no sense. And so this is why we decided to call upon the president of the university with over 3 to 4 press conferences. And this gathering today was only to echo or re-echo what have already been said in our press conferences. But to our utmost surprise, we witnessed barbarity, we witnessed the intrusion of elements that got no decency, we witnessed the intrusion of men who believe to be expired AFL personnel, and we think they are operating with a straitjacket mandate to shoot and kill students that will try to protest or that will be issuing press statement on the campus of the University of Liberia. So on that note, I want to say to the press, you are here present. In fact, you were here when this entire thing sparked up. So it is not a story that we are making up. You can keep going around the campus and do your own journalistic interview analysis. That will determine whether we are bringing story up or we are giving you reality. So what I know, want to say to all of our militants, this is not a time for normal intellectualism. This is the time to stand in defense of the defenseless students of the University of Liberia. There's not a time for subject matter agreement. There's not a time for taking down notes. This is a real revolutionary involvement that has to do with the lives and survivability of students of the University of Liberia. So I want to say to the press that the students on this campus currently that are present here, we are not going to dissipate in thin air. We are not going to retreat into cowardice. We're going to remain here and ensure that this conversation comes to a logical conclusion. Because, like Mahatma Gandhi said, I cannot teach you violence. I can only teach you not to bare your head to anyone, even at the point of your death. Never bow down your head. And so we want to say to people too, that we do not believe in violence. But of course, need to tell law of motion is never wrong. This is why any action that will come will be faced by equal opposite reaction. And so on our faith will be the dead body of terror until we can achieve what we call quality liberation at the nation's premier institute for higher learning. Long live the students of the University of Liberia. Long live the avant-garde progressive student alliance of the University of Liberia. Long live the student integration movement of the University of Liberia. Long live the University of Liberia. Long live Africa way too. So I know we'll pause. If there is no question from the press, then we can ask all militants to take a militant parade on the campuses of the University of Liberia.
So folks, that's it. We then here at the main campus of the University of Liberia on the Capitol Hill, where students from the Students Association here, or the Students Union, PROSA, have gathered to send out to the news, re-echoing their call for better education at the state-run university here in Liberia. So folks, on that note, this is all online too. You can keep following us as soon as notification reaches you, and we will update you on major happenings across Liberia. So on behalf of the entire team here, my name is William Howard. I've been accompanied by Alexander Z. You have yourself a pleasant good day, and thanks for watching.
Hey,